Welcome to Celebrity Style Magazine, the place for entertainment and celebrity news.
Right?
Today, we're diving deep into a real head-scratcher.
Yeah.
The rise and fall of rapper Ice Spice.
Okay.
It feels like just yesterday she was dominating the charts and now,
Right.
not so much.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, it's a story that really captures the fickle nature of fame, especially in the era of social media. Things move so fast these days, and Ice Spice's journey is almost a textbook example of how quickly the tides can turn.
Okay, so let's rewind for a second.
Okay.
Remember Munch?
Oh, yeah.
That song seemed to explode out of nowhere.
Right.
And suddenly she's collaborating with Taylor Swift.
Wow.
It was a whirlwind.
What's fascinating here is that her rise wasn't just about one catchy song.
Right.
It was a combination of factors.
Like?
Her music, yes,
Uh-huh.
but also a carefully cultivated online presence.
Okay.
And let's be real, some serious industry muscle pushing her forward. Think about all those high-profile collaborations and brand deals she landed early on.
Yeah.
It created this aura of unstoppable force.
And then, almost as quickly, things started to cool down. Her debut album, Y2K, underperformed,
Yeah.
to put it mildly.
Yeah.
28,000 units sold in the first week.
Wow.
That's not great, especially after all the hype and the promotional budget they poured into it.
Exactly. That kind of drop in sales is a major signal, especially when you consider the resources invested in her career.
Right.
It suggests something shifted. And that's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
There's this video essay by BlackySpeakz called Why Ice Spice is Fading Away
Okay.
that tries to unravel this puzzle.
Okay.
One piece of the puzzle they point to is Ice Spice's changing image.
Okay.
Specifically, they talk about her weight loss
Uh-huh.
and the speculation around whether she used Ozempic, the diabetes drug,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
to get there.
Right. And that ties into what BlackySpeakz says about how Ice Spice's image was such a crucial part of her brand.
Yeah.
Especially early on. She
Yeah.
owned her curves and it felt really authentic.
Right.
So when that image changed,
Yeah.
it might have alienated some fans who connected with that initial message of body positivity.
It's interesting, right? This is where it gets nuanced.
Okay.
BlackySpeakz also argues that Ice Spice's initial success was partly tied to her racial ambiguity. And this is a tricky topic,
Right.
but one we need to unpack.
Definitely.
The essay suggests that her lighter skin tone
Okay.
might have played a role in her getting more promotion and support, which aligns with a pattern of colorism we see in the music industry.
That's a heavy accusation.
Yeah.
Are they saying that the industry favors lighter-skinned artists?
That's the implication.
Wow.
And unfortunately, it's a conversation we need to have.
Yeah.
The music industry, especially in genres like hip-hop, has a long and complicated history with Eurocentric beauty standards. Right.
It's undeniable that lighter-skinned black female artists often get more visibility, more marketing dollars, and ultimately more commercial success. It's not just about looks either.
Right.
It's about fitting into a certain mold that's been historically favored.
So we've got this shift in image and this complex issue of colorism possibly playing a role in her initial success.
Yeah.
But BlackySpeakz also talks about this larger trend of audiences becoming more savvy, more critical of manufactured personas and shallow marketing tactics.
Right. It's like people are developing a kind of hype fatigue.
Interesting.
They crave authenticity, genuine artistry, and a deeper connection with the artists they follow.
Right.
BlackySpeakz's point is that maybe Ice Spice's carefully constructed image started to feel less relatable as audiences became more discerning. And that's where some of the other missteps that BlackySpeakz highlights come into play.
Okay.
The public feuds, the perceived dip in the quality of her music,
Right.
even those attempts to stir up controversy.
Yeah. All feeds into this idea that maybe the real Ice Spice got lost somewhere along the way.
It's almost like she was trying too hard to hold on to the spotlight.
Yeah.
And in the process, she lost sight of what made her unique in the first place.
That's a really insightful way to put it.
Thanks.
It's a classic trap for artists who experience that kind of rapid rise to fame. There's this pressure to maintain momentum, to keep pushing the boundaries, and sometimes that leads to decisions that don't feel authentic.
So is it all downhill from here?
I don't know.
Is Ice Spice destined to become just another flash in the pan?
Not necessarily. BlackySpeakz makes a point of saying that even though the hype has faded, Ice Spice still has that name recognition.
Right.
That's valuable.
Right.
The question is, can she leverage that recognition to rebuild her career on a more solid foundation?
So what would that even look like?
Right.
What does she need to do to turn things around?
It's all about evolution.
Okay.
The music industry is constantly changing. And artists who can adapt, stay true to themselves, and connect with their audience in a meaningful way are the ones who have staying power for 𝐬𝐸_SPICE.
Yeah.
It might mean taking a step back, reassessing her creative direction, and focusing on making music that truly resonates with her.
Okay.
Even if it means appealing to a different audience.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like she needs to rediscover her voice, the one that got everyone excited in the first place.
Exactly.
But isn't it more complicated than that?
Well,
I mean, BlackySpeakz talks about this image issue.
Yeah.
And the industry's possible role in her rise and fall.
Right.
Can she really break free from that?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
She's facing a real challenge.
Okay.
How do you rebuild trust with an audience that's become skeptical? How do you navigate an industry that might not be fully invested in your long-term success?
It almost feels like she's at a crossroads.
Yeah.
One path leads back to the manufactured image. The chasing of trends, the constant need to prove herself.
Right.
The other path is riskier.
Yeah.
Maybe even scarier. But it's the path of authenticity, of creative evolution, of maybe even challenging the very systems that put her in this position.
And that's what makes the story so compelling.
Yeah.
It's not just about one artist's rise and fall. It's a reflection of the music industry itself, its complexities, its biases, and the constant tension between art and commerce.
So where do we go from here?
Well,
What's the takeaway for us, the listeners, the fans, the people who are watching this unfold?
I think it's a reminder that behind the glitz and glamour,
Yeah.
behind the social media posts and the carefully curated image, there are real people, real artists grappling with the same challenges we all face.
Okay.
The need to be seen, to be heard, to find our place in the world.
And maybe this isn't the end of 𝐬𝐸_SPICZ's story.
Right.
Maybe it's just the beginning of a new chapter 1 that's more honest, more vulnerable, more truly her own.
That's a great point.
Thanks.
And that's what we'll have to wait and see. But regardless of what happens next, 𝐬𝐸_SPICZ's journey offers valuable insights into the ever-evolving landscape of fame and the music industry.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure diving into this with you.
It has.
𝐬𝐸_SPICZ's story is a reminder that the music industry is full of twists and turns.
Absolutely. And it's a reminder that we as consumers have a role to play too. What we choose to support, who we choose to elevate it, all matters.
That's so true. We have more power than we realize to shape the industry, to demand authenticity, to support artists who are pushing boundaries and challenging norms.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
what's the one thing you hope our listeners take away from 𝐬𝐸_SPICZ's story?
I think it's the importance of critical thinking.
Okay.
Don't just accept the narratives that are presented to you.
Right.
Question the hype, look beyond the surface, and support artists who are creating something meaningful, something real.
That's great advice. And on that note, we'll have to leave it there. But before we go, I want to thank you for joining us on this deep dive into 𝐬𝐸_SPICZ's journey.
It's been my pleasure.
It's been a real eye-opener. Thank you for listening.
Of course.
Be sure to like and subscribe,
Yes.
and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.